everyone and welcome to the final race of the AOR F1 2013 Season 7 Championship. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix and it all comes down to this for runner-up spot in the championship between TRL Limitless and xMattyG. 2 points separate the drivers, so unless they both have horrendous races, it all comes down to who finishes ahead. I'm Matthew Gallagher and joining me for what is going to be probably one of the most fascinating races of the season, it's Scott Woodwiss.
Yes, thank you, Matt. It certainly will be, of course. And on a circuit like Interlagos, it can all change things very quickly. The circuit's characterised by two distinct sectors. It's very fast, high-speed outer section, and it's very winding, twisty, technical infield section, which means a good balance and setup is really required. But of course, as you said, that battle for second place between Matty and TRL Limitless is the main focus. Noble's already champion. Williams already have the constructors title, which means it all comes down to that battle between those two drivers. But also to make a point, Matt, is that not only is it a major race for the championship, but also we're saying some goodbyes today as well. 3 drivers are leaving us the league, and it's quite a sad occasion.
Yes, we're saying goodbye to 3 drivers for next season, and it's Noble 2909, the champion for 5 seasons straight, SE Racing Team and Mazy CZ. So I hope those drivers will rejoin the leagues, maybe for season 9, but for season 8 they're not coming back. And let's go and have a look at the season 6 podium. Noble 2909 took the victory from F1 X360, a great race that was. Crookie almost took his maiden F1 victory, but got pipped by Noble, as we've seen all too many times. xMattyG taking 3rd place with the season 6 pole position, also going to F1 X360. So let's get down to business with the qualifying report.
Welcome to the final qualifying comparison of the AOR Season 7. We have Noble and Fisi going to be giving us a lap here today as they're going through the centre S's. Fisi takes a lot of curb through that corner, which will hinder exit speed, as Noble took it absolutely brilliantly. And they've both got DRS, where the first of 2 on this track are, and they're going to be going over 195 miles an hour. They're going to be braking into turn 4. Noble taking a beautiful line there, so is Fisi, but Fisi, from that mistake he made at turn 1, is down by a few tenths of a second as they're going up the hill now towards turn 6 and 7. Noble hitting the apex there, so does Fisi. They're both taking it fantastically as they go into turn 8. Noble taking a lot of curb, but Fisi goes slightly wide, and into turn 9 Fisi just slightly goes a bit wide, losing some more time to Noble as they go going now into turn 10. Noble hitting that apex nicely. Fisi slightly goes wide, which will cost him a tiny bit of time, as they're going to be now going to the final sector towards Young Cow Corner. And at this stage, Noble has built his gap slightly to about 2 tenths of a second, and he's going to get even more draft from Traceman92 just ahead of him, while Fisi's got no one, and Noble will gain even more time on this back straight where the second DRS zone is, and Noble will cross the line to take pole position with a 108.429, with Fisi with a 108.808. And now to Scott, he'll be doing the grid running for the final round of the AOR Season 7 Championship here in Brazil.
Thank you very much to Ryan Littlemore for that qualifying report. Now let's take a look at how they line up for the final time in Season 7. And in his final race for a while in the league, Noble 2909 starts from the best possible position, pole position, as we usually see him in this league, and he starts alongside TRL Rosberg, ahead of him by just almost 2 tenths of a second. The battle for second place has already swung into the favour of TRL Limitless in qualifying, as he lines up 3rd alongside TRL Martin in the 2nd Ferrari. 5th sees Randy McScrandy in the first of the McLarens, ahead of xMattyG in 6th, with 4th, 5th and 6th all separated by just 7 1/1000ths of a second, an incredible margin in the final race of the season. Row 4 sees Fisi Fan 91 in the Red Bull and TRL Minty in the 2nd Toro Rosso, ahead of Ricky C in the 2nd McLaren and Trace B92 in the 2nd Red Bull. It's a final race also for SE Racing Team in the Caterham, as he lines up on row 6 ahead of HyperX Callum in the Force India, while the Saubers make up row 7 with the Constantins ahead of his teammate also in his final race, Mazy CZ, 14th and last. 1 non-starter today, as it's Jason 97 F1 in the 2nd Force India, and all drivers both qualified and will start on the medium compound tyre, which is the option for this race. So there's the grid. Now let's head out there for the final race of Season 7, the Brazilian Grand Prix.
It's the final race of the season, the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's xMattyG and RapidScorpion commentating for you today. Another no % chance of rain, so it's all down to the drivers. It's all down to Limitless and Matty to decide who's going to get second place in the championship, and we're on the grid now. Scott, are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely, this is what everyone's been building up to. We have two championship fights, the one for second place, but also the battle for sixth between Fisi, Martin and Minty. There's the graphic in front of them, just 16 points separates them, and of course the battle for second, of course, 2 points between Matty and Limitless. This is going to be possibly one of the best races in AOR history. I'm looking forward to it, of course. 14 drivers looking forward for those 5 red lights for 36 laps. It's the final race of the season, Matty. Let's get it cracking.
So we're waiting for the lights now. We're on the grid with Noble. His final race for a little while. The lights are coming on now. The drivers are revving. We've got 5 lights. And we are away for the final race of the season here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Limitless in 3rd position, going to the inside of Rosberg already. He's got a slightly better start up the inside now. Can he get up into 2nd place? He's side by side with Rosberg, and he is. He's up into 2nd. Noble getting a brilliant start in the Williams in 1st place. Randy getting slightly... who's that? It's Martin. They're side by side going down towards this next left-hander. Matty maintaining 6th position off the grid, so he hasn't gained any positions. Limitless has one. Randy up the inside now, and now Matty's going to try and take advantage of Martin going wide. This side by side coming up to this long right-hander. Who's going to come out on top? And there's slight contact, and Matty's gone wide. Now Fizzy's going up the inside. Matty down to 7th. Fizzy up into 6th in the Red Bull, and it has gone from bad to worse for Matty from qualifying and now into the race. He has lost a position and cannot even see Limitless on the track at the moment. We now cut to SE Racing Team in the Caterham, down in 11th, his final race for a while as well, and now back to Fizzy in 6th. Matty's going to want to dispatch of Fizzy as quickly as possible because he is going to lose touch with the leaders if he does not start to make a few places up anytime soon. We're now with Randy in 4th position, and now Noble out in front, and he will want to surely help his teammate as much as he can, but also have a great result as it is his final race, Scott.
Absolutely will, and the important thing also is that battle for 6th in the championship going on. Martin has track position and therefore the advantage in the points. Minty's not exactly up the front as the SE Racing Team dives up the inside of the Senna S ahead of Trace 92 in the Red Bull, up into a 10th spot and a possible points paying position. But back to Matty now, he has to make up ground. He's moving to the inside of Fizzy, down the Retro Aposta towards the Interlagos, has the inside run, and Fizzy has no choice but to let him go. So that's back into 6th position, exactly where he started is Matty, but he was a little too aggressive on the opening laps, and that's what pushed him wide here at Ferradura, which is where Limitless is currently putting the pressure onto Noble. He's certainly keeping him honest in his opening laps, so he's not exactly letting him run away, and the top 4 just continuing up together, as that's interesting there. Rosberg has been forced wide into a mistake by Randy, and a bit of clever driving has put them side by side into Bico de Pato, and he's got now the inside run as they head into Megullo. And he has got his nose in front, so 3rd place now for Randy McSrandy. It is now Williams 1st, Toro Rosso 2nd. It's now a McLaren in 3rd place and Ferrari in 4th. So top 4 different constructors in the first 4 places. We're only on lap 2. It's a great race so far, but Matty's got all the work to do as we look back at the start, Matty.
So here we go, Noble getting a brilliant start off the line. Rosberg is known for not having great starts this season, and this one is definitely the same. He just gets mugged by Limitless up the inside, as we will see right now with this replay. Limitless just going to the inside line, getting a nice launch in that Toro Rosso. You can see just slightly better acceleration and a little bit more confident on the brakes as well. Meant that he had the inside line, then the outside for turn 2 and through the Senna S's, and then takes 2nd place, which may well turn out to be very crucial indeed if he can start to put pressure on Noble. So now this is Fizzy taking the outside line, then to the inside, which seemed to work until he makes slight contact with Matty. And not sure if he was aware of Fizzy being there, but Fizzy fortunately getting away with that and then getting past Matty later on in that lap, and it being very close through the first few corners down the field as well, as we now see SC losing the back end slightly and going onto the grass almost. Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but Trace took advantage of that and up into 10th, but then lost the position later on in the lap as well, I believe. And this is where Rosberg just went slightly wide, couldn't get on the traction, and then Randy just steamed straight round the outside. What a brilliant move that was by Randy, and up into a podium spot. And we're now on board with Fizzy, coming under pressure from Ricky C behind, the rapid Irishman, as we've seen so many times already. He sets the fastest lap of a 1:11.5, 8 tenths quicker than Fizzy, and surely he's going to go straight past. Look at that. Even with Fizzy having DRS, Ricky is challenging him up the inside, and can he make this move stick? Fizzy's given him more than enough room, and Ricky takes 7th place away from Fizzy. Fizzy really needs to be a little bit more aggressive, possibly, to cause Ricky to make a mistake into that braking zone. But down to 8th is Fizzy, and losing touch with Matty, who was close to him at the start of the race. And Randy now looking very feisty indeed, right behind Limitless, and Noble not actually getting away at all at the moment, and has the 2 drivers, and well, it's quite a train actually. I think it's down to about 5th or 6th, very close indeed. Probably all the drivers down to about 10th probably have DRS on each other on this lap at least. We will see as we come round the final corner. And, well, Randy is right. Well, I guess it's the final corner, but then I guess these corners are also, I'm not sure. Are they corners, Scott?
In some ways they might be, but so we might have a change to the lead here as Noble getting very defensive, forcing Limitless to possibly go to the outside, and Noble of course trying to defend that lead. It's his last race for a while. He want to try and win, but of course try and hold up Limitless as much as he can as they head into Center S. And the Williams doesn't seem to have the ultimate pace that Limitless has, and Limitless has got to get a move on it. He knows that the more time he spends behind Noble, the better chance it will give Matty to make places. He's currently up there in fifth position and trying to move as here comes Limitless to the outside, down towards the Interlagos, and Noble just moves across in the break zone to cover the line on the exit of the left hand, and he does there as Matty's got across the curves. It's put Martin up on his insides. I think there may have been a move up the outsides. They come back down side by side towards Ferradura. Martin around the outside, he's got much more confidence, but Matty is going to shoot there, and they touch. Now, was that a leg spike or was there actual contact? I couldn't tell, but Matty is up into fifth position. I think for the moment that Martin is, yeah, there he is, in fact, he's just in front of Fisi Fan for the moment, so of course he still retains the advantage in that battle for sixth position as we now go back on board with Randy exiting Vigo de Passo. But look at the snake of cars, it's absolutely incredible. I don't think we've ever seen the pack so close together in the whole season than we have in the first opening laps of a race here in Brazil. So it's incredible that these guys are all on the same pace. They've all kind of developed as drivers across the season. And it's great to see that even though Noble has been, once again, the runaway championship leader, he's still being kept honest, as once again, Limitless will have DRS, and a bit of fuel saving there as back into standard mix 2 goes Noble. Back on board with Randy into the centre rest, watching ahead, the Williams in the lead and the Toro Rosso in second, scrapping over the lead. And he knows that if anything happens between those two, he can take full advantage and grab himself a few vital points and even a further step on the podium. As Limitless again, forcing Noble to go to the inside of the corner to defend. And once more, Noble putting that car in the middle as Randy gets a little bit into the back of Limitless there. But it's incredible how the top three are so close together. There could be a slight change in position if one of them makes a slip up, Matty. This is fascinating racing, and we're only on lap 5 of 36.
Yeah, Brazil always promotes great racing. I think it's just the nature of the track. Obviously, the drivers are very close in pace, with there being only a sort of 1 minute 8 lap in qualifying at least, and 1 minute 12 at the moment for Fisi as he comes under pressure for Minty, and he may well lose another place here to another TRL boy, and he's going up the inside as Minty, and Fisi down into 9th now, and there's a bit of lag going on down the road there. Hopefully that doesn't affect any of the drivers, but they're still side by side, and towards this left-hander, who's going to come out on top? Minty a little bit more, yeah, he's much more confident on the brakes than Fisi, and just steams straight round the outside of him there. I'm very surprised that that's happened, but Fisi had to concede the position and is down to 9th place now, so he's losing positions hand over fist after being 6th place on lap 1, but he's going to come back at Minty now with DRS down towards the first corner and round the outside. Is he going to be more confident this time on the brakes? Yes, he is. Back up into 8th place. Fisi not giving up that position very easily at all, but Minty will now have DRS at this next straight, and he may well just steam straight back past, which it looks like he is. Fisi's used a little bit of curse to try and defend, but it really is no point, and Minty back up into 8th place again. So these two guys swapping positions left, right and centre, and we're now going to get a replay here of SE, and that is the Contadins going down towards the first corner. SE wanting to have a nice race and getting some contact with Contadins. That's not what you want in your final race, and down into last place, gets a penalty for making that causing that collision with Contadins. Be interesting to see if that comes off, and we'll see at the end of the race, I'm sure. But Matty, this was the move. Martin slightly pushing him wide, and then coming through this double right-hander. They make ever so slight contact, and Martin just loses the back end and slides and goes down into 7th place. So Matty up into 5th and 3 places behind the guy he needs to beat 30 laps into this race. We're in lap 6 at the moment, so 30 laps, and that's going to mean, I think, a 2 or 3 stop here today, and Limitless is going to want to possibly go for the undercut as he is behind Noble and can't seem to get past him at the moment. He's used all of his curves down the straight, so is Randy, and they're all going to have DRS apart from Noble, of course, and I wouldn't be surprised as Rosberg peels into the pits at the end of lap 6, so that is very early to go on to a set of prime tyres, so it'll be interesting to see where Rosberg comes out after everybody pits. Obviously he will have the pace advantage, but with the nature of this track being so short, I don't think the advantage of having fresh tyres is as much as it is on other tracks, but we shall see in a couple of laps time, I am sure, as Limitless is still behind Noble. Noble defending valiantly and keeping that first position, which is key because he cannot let Limitless through, especially for his teammate as well. He really needs to keep Limitless at bay, which he is doing at the moment, and it's a brilliant job. Limitless still with +1 lap of fuel at the moment, which means that he will be able to push later on in the race, especially when he has some fresher tyres. But for now, Randy looking strong in 3rd, and most of the drivers you can see on the mini-map, Scott, they're all looking strong.
They really are. I think this is probably the strongest we've seen the entire field all season, in fact. It's quite ironic it comes down to the final race and everyone seems to be showing their true colours. But it's intriguing that Noble, of course, is doing a grand job, of course, in front. Of course, this is real team play coming into here. And you made a very good point, of course, just reiterating the fact that he needs to keep Limitless at bay and needs to hold him up as much as he can. Of course, not inadvertently in terms of a blocking context. As actual Limitless, it's kind of, he gets a bit of a track advantage because now we've got Limitless and Randy and Matty all pitting at the same time for their first set of prime tyres. So it's absolute chaos. It's not chaos, but it's a hive of activity in the pit lane. McLaren, Ferrari, Toro Rosso and Williams all out for their drivers as away goes Limitless onto his first set. And let's see if there's been any position change. I don't think there has, as they come back out the pits now. And it looks as though that Randy has leapfrogged Limitless in the pit stops. An incredible piece of pit work from the McLaren boys, as now we see Rosberg heading out the pits and he's now also leapfrogged all of them. So incredible job on the outlap from Rosberg to get in front of all these guys. And it now means that Matty finds himself at the back of the queue. But more importantly, his next target in front of him to get past is in fact Limitless. So this could get very interesting out on track. Meanwhile, back in front of them, the guys who haven't stopped just yet, we've got Minty and Fisi, the two guys in the battle for sixth, scrapping over what is at the currently third position on the road as they head into Bica de Passo. And Minty get a little bit sideways because you can see the state that Fizzy's tyres are on as you look at his heads-up display on the right-hand side there. Back with Randy getting his tyres up to temperature. Rosberg in front, his have had a lap to get into their operating window. And I think Noble is going to make his first pit stop also at the end of this lap. Yes, he is. So Williams will be preparing for the 5-time champion. He hits it to Lee Mix 1 to save some fuel. As now we've got Minty under pressure from Fizzy fans. They're both diving the pits as well. And Fizzy getting a little bit cheeky there, trying to make a move into the pits to put alongside. Great helmet cam here as there go the Williams boys to work and away get. Oh, Noble's being held. I think it possibly could have been due to the fact that both Fizzy and Minty were coming into the pits. And indeed it was. Fizzy was had already made his stop and away he went. So the pit packages are starting to concertina up a little bit more. Constantine now finds himself in the lead as now Noble comes out. And ironically, look at that. That's worked out almost perfectly because there he is. There is Matty, his teammate, and he now means that Noble can act as a rear gunner and any support that he needs. But Matty, this could be a fantastic few laps with these guys all so close together.
Well, the thing is, Noble's lost the lead. Being held by 1.7 seconds has cost him from going from first down to about a net fifth at the moment, with one driver yet to pit, I think that is. And there he is. It's the Continent struggling on the primes at the moment. But Rosberg has the lead at the moment, and Randy is challenging for the lead. And after winning at America, he's now going to try and win another race. And he's definitely looking like he's got the pace. And Limitless gets past Continent as well, which is crucial. And, well, these drivers are very close indeed. And I have to say, well, I mean, who do you think your money is on, Scott? I mean, Randy's looking really, really strong, but then obviously Limitless is going to want to get second place in the championship.
It's really close. These four guys are absolutely going to the limit. In fact, you look at form. The constant is expecting the fight that he doesn't need to be in, as Limitless is now going to the outside. As Brady's now got DRS and Rosberg. He moves to the outside of the Ferrari. They're side by side down the pit straight, and Limitless is going to try and make a move up the outside. Look at this. Rosberg's got the inside. Brady's going to get the inside run for turn 2. This is absolutely incredible. And Matty just in behind them as well. This is the view now as Matty sets the fastest lap of the race. He pulls up alongside Limitless. He's gone past Rosberg as well. They're going to be side by side behind Randy, and they almost touch, and he gets in front, and that's an incredible move. Matty gets in front. He's passed 3 cars in the space of 1 move from 4th to 1st. I cannot believe what I've just seen. That is one of the best slingshot moves ever, and Noble's at the back of the queue, and Noble must be thinking, that's my boy Matty, what a great move. 3 cars, 1 move, 4th to 1st. He has a current track position and championship advantage. What an amazing pass. Unbelievable.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, and that's just turned the championship, well, second place in the championship, on its head as Rosberg looks to the outside of Limitless now. So Limitless has gone from getting second place in the championship, or currently anyway before lap 10, and now he's got Rosberg all over him, Matty in the lead, and Noble, who is probably quicker than all of these guys, at the back of the queue. So Limitless really has to get on it right now if he is going to get second place in the championship. Matty out in front, he's used all of his curse, so Randy may well get in the slipstream down towards turn 1. Noble now trying to get past Rosberg. He's going to open DRS. Rosberg's going to have DRS as well, so it's going to be very close into turn 1. Here we go, under the braking. Who's going to come out on top? They're very close, but Noble has got through. He's gone very slow through that turn 2, and he's lost the back end. Here comes Ricky out of nowhere. Can Ricky do what Matty's just done? Let's have a look. Ricky's gone past Rosberg, but he cannot get past Noble, who had DRS. Randy now coming, or putting Matty under pressure for first place, but Matty is still out in front. What a change this has been after the pit stops. Noble was out in front, Matty at the back of the queue, and it has now changed that Noble's at the back and Matty's at the front. Limitless is right behind both of them as well, so it is far from over, and Matty going slightly wide there. So I don't think he can actually believe that he is in first place at the moment. Randy all over the back of that Williams at the moment, and I cannot call who is going to win this race, or in fact come in the top 5, because it is so close. And as you can see on the mini-map, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's 7 drivers in a train, so really could mean anyone could be on the podium here this afternoon. And here is the replay, and this is Limitless following Rosberg and Randy. They've all kind of compromised each other's runs. Randy's hit the curb very hard. Limitless has slightly hit Rosberg's rear tyre, and this is where Matty just steams and thinks, right, if you're going to mess about, I'm just going to come steaming through. That was close, really close. In fact, I think Limitless had a slightly different point of view than what Matty had. Let's have a look. This is the replay on board the Williams driver. So he's going to use all of his courage. He's going to put it up into Rich. He's seen the opportunity. He's seen the gap. He's done 1. He's done 2. There's no contact on his screen. He's come through very cleanly indeed, and he's just gone straight through up into first place. And wow, this could be a game changer, Scott, and this could, well, it's just thrown everything up in the air.
I couldn't believe, in fact, that on Limitless' screen there was contact between Matty and Limitless, and the two, and Matty was almost sideways at almost 200 miles an hour, which is incredible. But now he's coming in over attack under the centre S, and Randy with an impressive braking move on the outside into the centre S to take the lead there. But of course, this now possibly might give Matty the run on DRS. Indeed, it does. So he can now get revenge down the Retro Aposta towards the Interlagos. He'll pull to the inside, and Randy can't exactly defend because he's got his racing line, and back into the lead he goes. Limitless trying to follow, but Randy covers off the line, and here comes Noble around the outside of Limitless. Look at this, here comes the cavalry for Williams. He's up the inside towards Ferradura. He's going to get the move done. Yes, he is. He gets his nose in front, and Robo gets up to 3rd place. A little bit of contact as they rub wheels, and also Ricky C getting involved. Where's he come from? Nowhere. Look, it's a 6 car gap. It's more than that. Look at the mini-map. There's about 7 cars involved for the lead, as they're still side by side between Noble and Limitless. Noble up the inside into 3rd place. That's exactly what Williams want to see. Exactly what and look at that, and Ricky's come from nowhere. Every the opportunity, Ricky C, the Irishman, straight up the inside, say cheers for that, Limitless. I'll get up to 4th position if you don't mind me. As now Randy's now going to get himself involved. Look at this as Randy runs wide, and that gives Noble the run he needs with DRS onto the pit straight. This is an incredible sequence, Matty. I can't call this either way.
So Noble is about to challenge Randy, possibly for 2nd place, and that could be the deciding factor of this race if Matty can have his rear gunner Noble right behind him. But it doesn't look like he's going to get the move done this time into turn 1. Limitless down to 5th place and is struggling all over the place at the moment. He's got Martin right behind him. We're now on board with Fisi, who's down to 10th, and he's right behind his teammate Trace, who's gone very slowly through the centre S's, so maybe he'll be able to get up into 9th place. But wow, there's action all the way down the field. You can see on the minimap how close it is. I think we should just do Brazil 19 times, to be honest, because this track, there's no other track that produces this amount of great racing, and Fisi unfortunately couldn't get past Trace into that braking zone, and he is staying in 10th position at the moment. But Noble looking very feisty now. All of a sudden he's up into 3rd place, he's on the podium, and he's right behind Randy, who he really needs to get past if he wants to help his teammate as much as possible. But Limitless down to 5th place at the moment, so even if Matty does lose the lead, it looks like he's still going to claim 2nd place in the championship at the moment. Noble in lead at the moment, it's worth pointing out, now up into rich fuel mixture, so he may well try a move. Here we go. He's going to use all of his curves, I am sure, and he's going to stay in the slipstream, but it doesn't look like he's close enough once again. So Randy getting some good traction out of that corner and managing at the moment to stay in 2nd place. And we now cut to Noble, who is going to have DRS, but Randy's got DRS on Matty ahead as Noble sets his fastest lap of the race for 1:10.9. He takes a much better line, a much tighter line through the centre S's, so maybe that will give him the opportunity. Here we go. He's going to have DRS. Does Randy? He doesn't look like Randy has DRS. So here we go. Noble for 2nd place. It looks like he's going to make the move. He does. Up into 2nd place. It's a Williams 1-2. And wow, well, what has Limitless got, Scott?
He doesn't seem to have anything at this point, and what's impressive to point out is that look at this, from 1st to 10th the cars are literally almost nose to tail. I've never seen anything like it in AOR or ARL circles for quite a while, if not ever, but this is an incredible fight, and we're only coming up to just about halfway. So we've still got a lot of this race left to go, but Limitless back in 5th, and looks as though he's a little bit helpless on this set of tyres. He's not exactly at the same pace that he was running on the softer option tyre. So it now means that the Williams cars seem to be much stronger on the harder compound tyre as they run forwards. Their car seems to be better set up and suited to this hard compound on the primes. And this is now a perfect situation for Williams now. Matty in front and Noble acting as rear gunner, fending off any attacks from the likes of Randy, Ricky, or indeed Limitless. So let's see exactly what he's got here to put up a defensive effort. So here comes Randy in the slipstream down the pit straight towards centre S. Is he going to close up with DRS? And he closes up, but not exactly enough to make a pass. Back to Fisi at the back of this queue, and he's now staring at the rear end of Trace 92, his teammates. So Red Bulls run 9th and 10th. And of course, I think we've got a Ferrari up there as well, of course, in 8th position as they head on to the Retro Aposta. We move forwards now to the end of lap 15, as now Matty and Noble start to pull away a little bit. Yellow flags in the sector, so something's happened to somebody around that area, but hopefully they'll close up. They will be withdrawn fairly quickly. And Noble now is in the toe of Matty. Is he going to make a move and make a change for position? He does, but I think this might possibly give a change for a chance for Matty to get DRS down the backstraight on the Retro Aposta. The Red Bulls also look like they're shaping up to change places, as Fisi now moves up the inside of his teammate. This time though, Tracy seems a little bit more reluctant, but he does slot in behind as Noble pops in a 1 minute 10.765 for the fastest lap of the race. And now it seems as though, unlike the Williams guys, looks like the Red Bulls are ready to switch places, and I'm pretty sure this could be just team tactics played by Williams. They're going to run so they get drivers get DRS on alternate laps, which means they can start to collectively pull away from the rest of the field, which they're already doing. And it looks as though really it's just a case of Williams securing their dominance in this championship, but more importantly helping Matty secure that second place in the championship. And meanwhile for Limitless, he's stuck behind a pair of McLarens, with Randy and Ricky being two sizable roadblocks from Woking to try and get around. Now on board with Mazy in his final race. He's under attack from SE Racing Team through the centre S, and was there a bit of contact? There wasn't, but SE getting very opportunistic around the outside in the middle of the corner. And this is, I think, a lap later as Mazy just went a little too deep, shortcut across the AstroTurf, and in his attempts to try and keep up with him. But so far, it seems as though the Williams pair have got it under control. Noble currently leads from Matty, but of course I'm pretty sure that Noble at some point will want to allow his teammate through. As speaking of switching places between teammates, here comes Ricky up the inside of Randy, so the McLarens will go side by side, and Ricky will get his nose up into the Desida de Lago, the left-hander at the end of the back straight, into third place. So lots of inter-team battles going on here between teammates. But it's intriguing that Limitless doesn't seem to have the support from Minty, because purely Minty's just not on the pace, and Limitless is having to do it all by himself.
Yeah, Minty's absolutely nowhere. Limitless has got to do it all by himself, and he's right behind Randy at the moment. It seems like Ricky's got slightly better pace than Randy at the moment. I think that was possibly team orders, Randy letting Ricky through, but as you can see, just a little bit quicker in this tighter section, and Ricky may be trying to push on to try and catch the Williams boys and get back into that DRS zone. But it was crazy to see a few laps ago that everybody in the top 10 was on the same straight, and that was the straight after the centre S. So it's not a long one, but they were all on the same parts. It's crazy as Limitless is now using some of his curves and up into rich fuel mixture to try and get past Randy. This is a crucial move if Limitless still wants to challenge the Williams boys for the top spot here this afternoon. Randy is going to have to take the outside line down towards turn 1. He's not as confident on the brakes either, as Ricky's lagging a little bit at the front, and Limitless is up into 4th place now. As who's that? That's Martin, who's got a great run out of the centre S, and here we go. Is Martin going to take 5th place away from Randy? Well, actually he's not, because Randy's got DRS and used half of his curves as well, which could mean, oh my god, that McLaren started flying. That could mean that Randy comes under pressure at the end of the lap because he won't have as much curves. But Martin looking feisty as well, as Ricky has gone slightly wide, maybe touched the grass slightly as well, and that's given Limitless the opportunity to have a look at the McLaren, but there really isn't many places to look as Ricky goes wide again. So maybe there is. Oh, he's practically parked his McLaren on that apex as he took such a horrendous line through that corner, and Randy is practically pushing the Toro Rosso around the track. So these guys are really costing themselves some time as the Williams boys are working together to push and pull away from the rest of the pack, which it looks like they're doing. They must have at least 2 seconds on Ricky now, and this is looking not very good. Well, Randy's gone wide as well. This could mean he goes down to 6th place. He hasn't had a very good last few laps, and that means he is down to 6th. He was fighting for the victory only a few minutes ago, and now he is down to 6th place, and he's got Rosberg, a very, very fast Ferrari driver, behind him as well, so I'm sure he is not looking forward to that battle, and if Rosberg, who's 5/10 behind, comes looking for 6th place. But wow, I mean, it's kind of calmed down a little bit in terms of the fight for the lead, because obviously the Williams boys have started to pull away and start to work together. Noble looks like he's using some of his fuel to try and pull Matty along with him. You can see on the mini-map it's still very close for 3rd place and the rest of the positions, but 1st and 2nd starting to pull away as Limitless is starting to square up and look at 3rd place from Ricky, who looks like he's starting to struggle on those tyres, maybe looking to potentially pit in the next few laps. I'm not sure when Ricky pitted, but it looks like he's struggling a little bit more than Limitless at this stage of the race.
Possibly, and this is the key stage of the race for Limitless, because he has to try and make the most that he can of the gap that he has, and also get himself around Ricky as quickly as he can, because of course the more time he spends behind him, the less time he'll spend in clean air, which means he can pump in some quick laps before his second stop to try and close the gap to the two Williams guys, because of course they're going to be working together using the draft from each other to start to pull away as a collectively, while Limitless only has the draft from Ricky down the pit straight. But here he comes, exactly what I was talking about, up the inside, under brakes for the center S, a little bit of a lock up on the inside. Has that forced him a bit too deep into the corner? Slightly, but it has put Ricky up on his inside through the through the curve of the Sol, and Ricky's now got himself back in front. But does Limitless have DRS? No, he doesn't. Ricky does, in fact. So as they come down onto the Interlagos into the left-hander, Ricky has lost that position, and it is now Limitless back into third places now. Oh, Rosberg and Randy getting a little bit too close for comfort. They did rub wheels. Look how close that is. It's front wheel to front wing. And there goes Rosberg into Martin. In fact, apologies, Martin. My apologies. Is in fifth position now. Rosberg is right behind in seventh, so it is currently, as you see it, third to seventh. It's Toro Rosso, McLaren, Ferrari. So incredibly close, and also just behind as well. Also, the second Toro Rosso trying to give some support to Minty with the Fisi fan and also Trace B92 in there as well. So again, this pack from third down to 10th, still incredibly close. But look at the mini map as well. You can see just how much that the two Williams boys have pulled away by working together in the draft. So they currently have the advantage out in front at the moment, and of course it seems as though that Matty is going to be going towards his second place in the championship. But of course here comes Ricky to try and compound Limitless' misery further, straight up the inside into the center S, and that is him retaking third place. Now what has Limitless got in terms of response? Can he get DRS now? Onto the back straight. He's using curves. Here comes DRS, the rear wing's wide open, and once again goes to the inside now of the McLaren. He gets his nose in front, and he will get third place back once again by the time they hit the brakes for the left-hander. Very high-speed corners. They head downhill now through towards Ferradura, back with the Williams boys. Almost like a Sunday drive for these two, as Noble just ahead of Matty, and of course I'm sure at some point that later on the race, if not now, was Noble's going deep. I'm not suggesting that was deliberate, but Noble did run a little bit too deep, and he knows, of course, that Matty has to take advantage, of course, those play. As Pack here in the midfield, Rosberg and Minty getting side by side, with Fizzy Fan having a perfect view of the pair of them scrapping away, and Minty throwing it back up down the inside into Bica de Pato, as they did before, and Rosberg going to hold his line on the inside through Magullo, and he will keep the Ferrari in front. Of course, remember, these two cars both have exactly the same engine, but the Ferrari, of course, is the works machine, whereas the Toro Rosso has the customer engine, and Minty will now have DRS, and Fizzy's going to sit here and watch and think, yeah, you two battle away, and I'll take advantage of that. As here now comes, I think that's Matty into the pits to make his pit stop, as we've now got the second round of stops now just all coming together in earnest, as it's a flourish of activity in the pit stops. Here comes the Williams boys onto his second and final stop. That's possibly his final tyre change of season 7. That could be what's going to give him second place in the championship. Limitless makes his final stop as well, so it's all going in the pits, Matty, and this could be crucial because we could see some major reshuffling down the order behind the top two positions.
Yeah, this is a crucial moment for Limitless if he wants to take second place in the championship or have any chance with 14 laps to go. He really needs to put in an incredible outlap, because Noble is still out on there with his older prime tyres. He's not going to put in a very good lap probably. Well, it's Noble. He's obviously going to put in a fast lap, as Randy has lost connection, or no, he's just, his controller's disconnected. There we go, and he's back running again. So as I was saying, as he's gone down to 11th now, so this is going from bad to worse for Randy. Limitless needs to put in one of the fastest laps of his AOR career if he wants to try and get anywhere near Noble as he pits, because, I mean, Matty's not that far ahead of Limitless, you have to say. It's only a few seconds, although it looked like a lot more on the mini-map, as Noble is now about to make his final pit stop of possibly Season 7, and possibly for a long, long time as well, so he may well want to give the pit boys a wave as he comes out of the pits as well. But he's into the pits now for his final stop of the race, and he's going to put on another fresh set of primes. He's going to have slightly fresher tyres towards the end of the race as well, if he is coming under pressure from anybody. But we shall see as he now leaves his pit box and is, well, let's have a look. Matty is coming around the first corner now, so he's taken first position, it says on the top left, so that means he's got a little bit of an advantage. Look at that, Matty's all the way down there. So where is Limitless in all of this? Let's have a look. Noble, I'm sure, is going to look behind, because that is the main factor. There we go. So Limitless is probably just over a second behind Noble, so he's going to have to use all of his fuel and maybe a little bit more to try and catch up to Noble, because that is his only chance of getting anywhere above third place here this afternoon. Fisi is in 6th place at the moment, so he's gone up a few positions. Well, after the first few laps anyway, he was down to 10th, but he's back up to 6th. He's got his pace back in gear, and he's got Ricky just ahead of him as well, and a Ferrari just ahead of that in 4th position as well. So Minty in 7th place. He's really not given Limitless any sort of help this afternoon, and I'm sure Limitless is not going to be very happy with his teammate and the pace that he has shown today. But Limitless is giving all he has got to try and get 2nd place in the championship, and Fisi looks like he is going to maintain 6th place in the championship if he finishes in 6th, with Martin up in 4th at the moment. That's not going to be enough, I don't think, as Matty now comes over the line to start lap 24, sets the fastest lap of the race of a 1:10 flat, and Noble is out of DRS range, and Limitless is just out of DRS zone at the moment. So if he takes the center S's pretty well, which it looks like he has, he's going to have DRS on Noble. He has set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:09. I think that's 9, I can't quite see, but he's got DRS anyway, and he is now within striking distance of 2nd place. And if Matty makes a mistake, it is all wide open once again, Scott.
Really is. There was the Sabre boys going to work on one of their guys, as now we cut back to the battle of a 3rd. And again, a crucial part, because Limitless, you know, if he can just get himself around Noble if possible, he's got a clear shot at trying to chase after Matty, and it'll be an all-out fight for 2nd place in the championship at the front of the race. But Noble, of course, is doing exactly what he's been called on to do. He's already secured the championship. He now has to play rear gunner and, of course, support to Matty to get 2nd place, of course, to secure the Williams domination, because these two, in the past few seasons, both Matty and Noble, have been the class of the field, to be fair. Limitless has been there or thereabouts, so managed to take a couple of race victories, but it really has all been the Matty and Noble show, either for Toro Rosso or for Williams like this season. But here, coming back down the pit straight, it's possible now that Limitless might have DRS once again. In fact, here he comes. Yes, he does. Waiting for his correct moment. He hasn't even opened it down the pit straight. That's quite intriguing. I'm quite surprised he didn't open it, because he could have had a chance to pull alongside. But look at the exit. Once again, he gets out of the center S, through Curva de Sol onto the rest of Aposta. DRS open again. He saved all his curves. This could be a major part of the race here, Matty. This could be for 2nd place in the race, and possibly could change the complex of the race towards the championship, as again Noble manages to hold himself in front. He had enough straight line speed, despite the fact that Limitless had DRS and using up his curves as well. He's going to go to the outside of Ferradura. Can he make that move stick? Noble's much more brave up the inside, and he has possibly forced Limitless a little bit wide on the exit of Ferradura as they head into Laranjina and then into Pinhurina, this very complex long left-hander. They head back up the hill now towards the very tight kind of right-hander of Biga de Pato. It just tightens up then on the exit and opens out once again as they head towards Megullo. Back on board with Fisi Fan, under attack with Minty. Of course, these guys scrapping over 6th in the championship and 6th position on the road. And Minty is keeping him honest, of course, as they head down towards Young Cow, which then will take them on the long climb back up towards the pit straight. Of course, Ricky C is up there in 5th position, at some almost 3 seconds ahead. And Fisi Fan going to have to step on it if he wants to get himself a little bit closer. Back with Limitless in 3rd place into Standard Mix 2. Has got DRS open down the pit straight this time. He didn't last lap as they came across the stripe. So I was a little bit mystified. I'm not sure really the reason why he didn't use it. But I think his run through the center rest wasn't as good as it was the previous couple of laps. So he's not going to be close enough to use DRS this time. Back now with Fisi Fan. And here comes Minty now. This is for 6th position up the inside. They're going to be side by side, and with Ferrari power, Minty is up into 6th place and once again also has the points advantage going forwards in the championship, of course, as they head towards it. But of course, Fisi is going to want to try and stay there to try and secure as many points as he can to try and sustain his place in that three-way scrap for 6th position. Back with the guys for 2nd place. Noble just holding on through the corners, and all this time just allowing Matty just to skate up down the road and get himself a victory, which will surely give him advantage for 2nd place. And these are two very quick key battles going on for two very key positions in the championship, 2nd and 6th, Matty. And it looks as though they're going to set to go all the way to the flag if these guys aren't careful.
Yeah, and Fisi's coming under pressure from Rosberg, which could put a little bit more pressure on Fisi as to where he finishes. If Minty gets a few places up the road, I'm not sure at the exact championship standings, but I know that Fisi's going to have to try and stay as close as he can to Martin, especially as Limitless is using DRS down the straight. And I think just to get sort of give you some sort of reasoning, what I think anyway of Limitless not using DRS that time was the fact he's learned earlier on in the race that he doesn't want to get past into turn 1, because then the driver he's just passed will have DRS down the straight that we are on right now. So I think that's the reasoning for Limitless. He had enough of a slipstream to max out anyway, so there really wasn't any point in opening DRS and trying a move into turn 1. So, but unfortunately for Limitless, he hasn't got past Noble yet, so despite biding his time, he is still in 3rd position, and Matty is romping away with this this with 9 laps to go. He is looking like he is coming to get second place in the championship once again. I'm not sure how many times that is in a row, but he's come behind Noble quite a few times, as Noble is in second place and still maintaining that rear gunner approach. He puts it into standard now as he is about to come through into the last sector. He is up on his previous best, so he's not sort of hanging around. He's trying to. Oh well, it said 8 tenths there, but it's definitely not 8 tenths, as Limitless is in the slipstream and using. Well, he's still got plus 1 lap of fuel. I'm not sure why he's not in fast, trying to get past Noble here, but it looks like he's going to sit behind Noble once again. He opens DRS this time. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? I think he's just trying to he's trying to force Noble into a defensive move. Here we go through turn 2. He's going to maybe have a run down that straight, as Fisi fans coming under pressure from Rosberg, and he loses 7th place to the Ferrari driver. And here we go, Limitless using all of his curves. He wants to get past Noble this time, down into the braking zone. Noble has the inside line there, side by side. Can Limitless finally get past Noble? They're still side by side coming up the hill and towards this double right-hander. Is Noble going to try and hang it round the outside? Yes, he is. So they're still side by side. These two are racing brilliantly. There's almost touch, and I think they may have, but Noble still maintaining second position. He now has the inside line, and Limitless, if he gets on the traction, will have the inside line for the next corner, which it looks like he does. Down towards this very tight right-hander. Noble going very wide indeed, and I think he's going to finally concede the position, which he does. Limitless up into second place, and it is now key for the Toro Rosso driver to keep Noble behind if he wants any chance of getting first position here this afternoon. But Noble will have something to say about that. He has some of his curves left, and he is probably going to try and fight Limitless to the very end. And here we go, he's in the slipstream already. Is he going to go up the inside? Yes, he is. He goes down to standard, but he's going to open DRS and retakes second position. Brilliant driving from these two, Scott.
Really is a fantastic battle, of course, but the problem is with Limitless, the longer he spends fighting with Noble, the more advantage he gives to Matty, who is way up the road, further, most part of the way down the retro poster again, as Rosberg now sits the fastest lap of the race, and again, Limitless going to the inside to retake second place, and Noble just will not give it up. He's going to look back to the inside on the exit through Ferradura and towards up towards the very fast uphill right-hander. So Limitless currently has track position, but again Noble's going to try and throw it back up the inside towards the complex. They come under brakes, and Limitless will just park that Toro Rosso on the apex, and now he's going to give Noble a taste of his own medicine. But of course we look back now to the battle going on for 5th, 6th and 7th. And ironically, I think this is actually between the 3 guys, well, not exactly, as Rosberg's not in the fight, because of course it's between Minty, Rosberg and Fisi. And Randy's back in 9th position, of course. He was up there, as we said, challenging for the lead, and he really hasn't shaken out well on the pit stop, so not a good run for him so far, but he really has dropped back. As we now head towards back with the front with this battle for second, it still goes on. Italy Mix 1, which is a smart thing to do to save fuel whilst you're in the slipstream, and again with DRS open, but he's never going to throw it up the inside into center S. No, he's going to stay behind in the racing line and just hold on and see what he can do down the retro poster. Looking back now with Fizzy fan, as looks like Rosberg has got himself around Minty during that time. And down the back straight once again, even with DRS, and it's intriguing. Look at that. Noble saved his curves. He didn't use any of it down the back straight, so possibly he's looking to size up Limitless for a move. Down the inside as again Minty, and that was contact! Now that was contact between both Rosberg and Minty. Minty goes spinning off onto the AstroTurf. And that now means that it gives Fizzy fan the chance to sail around the outside of Rosberg. Now that possibly is a controversial move, because that possibly could have thrown Minty out of the fight for 6th position in the championship. Martin is up the road in 5th position, and which means now that Fizzy fan holds the advantage for the moment, at least, to try and keep enough points to remain in front. As we now once again look back to the battle for second place, so that possibly could go to the stewards after the race, and Minty will feel very hard done by, of course, and may feel that could be possibly he may feel in some cases underhand tactics by Martin's teammate. I don't think it will be, but we'll have to wait and see after the race. But once again, I said it was going to happen. Noble using all his curves and DRS, and once again to the inside down towards center S, better under brakes into the complex and back into second place. These two are scrapping all amongst, and Limitless is thinking, come on, I've got to get around Noble and I've got to clear him now, and that's not exactly helping, because look how much Noble's pulled away already through the center S and through out of curve, and so onto the retro poster. Let's look at these two again, Matty, and just seems as though it's tough to call, really. I'm not sure that was lag or possibly just something that contact. Let's look at it again. Now, how do you call it, Matty? Because that looks pretty tough, because it looks as though that Rosberg held his line, which he's entitled to do. It just seems that possibly there was a bit of contact between the two, and obviously seems as though that Minty was the unfortunate party in that one.
Yeah, it seems like there was a little bit of rubbing of wheels, and that caused Minty just spin around, which is obviously something to do with the impact engine on this, but obviously very unfortunate for Minty. I don't think there was really much well, Rosberg could have done. It was just simply Minty spinning off due to the impact engine, and Rosberg looks like he has carried on, so he hasn't let Minty through, although it looked like he was, as Fisi retakes 6th position, which Rosberg just took away from him. But it looked like Rosberg was waiting, and then he just carried on. Maybe Minty said carry on, but Rosberg is now looking to the outside. They're side by side coming towards this uphill right-hander. Who is going to come out on top? Rosberg still hanging around the outside. Fisi almost squeezing him out of room just purely through understeering, and his tyres are not looking particularly healthy on lap 32, and so he's still maintained 6th position, and with Martin only 1 place above him, that means that Fisi is going to get a very well-deserved 6th place in the championship, and unless Martin can produce some incredible driving and get up into, I think, 3rd or 4th, but at the moment he's in 5th, which is not going to be enough, as Limitless is using all of his curves once again in standard though, so he's not using all of his engine power, and Noble looks like he has saved all of his curves as well. So even without DRS, he has managed to completely and utterly just destroy Limitless in a straight line and maintains 2nd position. Limitless may well have another go as Rosberg is looking up the inside of Fisi down into turn 1. Fisi will now have the inside for turn 2. And who is going to get DRS? I think Rosberg might. He's got the position. Let's have a look. Oh no, Fisi does. So Fisi will now probably storm straight back past. Trace has now got involved in the action and is trying to do what xMattyG did on lap 10, but he cannot, and actually stays in 8th position as Fisi looks up the inside. Rosberg gets better traction out the corner and will now have the inside line. It's like deja vu, but they've swapped places, although Rosberg actually maintains 6th position, and they're not side by side into this right-hander. So Rosberg up into 6th once again, and Fisi not wanting to give up that position ever at all, as Trace is still in 8th position. But look at that arrow. He is probably pushing his teammate around the track at the moment. Unfortunately, we don't have a point of view of Trace for this race, but you can see that he wants to get past his teammate, probably just so that he can say, you know, I beat you on the last race. But anyway, he will look to try and get 7th place, I'm sure, with the next 3 laps, as Noble is now looking pretty comfortable in 2nd place, you have to say. But then here we go, Limitless with the slipstream. Noble didn't have as much curves, I don't think, down the straight this time, but still maintains 2nd position through the centre S. Limitless taking a lot of curb and a little bit more, as he now has DRS once again. Ricky looking very feisty indeed. Maybe he's going to get the podium spot. That could be a brilliant result for the Irishman in the McLaren for the final race of the season. Fisi now in the slipstream of Rosberg. Can he make a move up towards this left-hander? These two have gone side by side quite a bit through the middle sector. Are they going to go through it again? Fisi up into 6th, and Rosberg not deciding to hang it round the outside, or is he? Is he going to use some of his curves? And oh look, there's now another car. There's another 2 cars. There's 5 cars scrap for 6th place, Scott.
This is absolutely incredible. I can't believe this course is the last race. As there goes, I think, is that Trace been running wide? It is. But he gets back up under braking, and Randy, of course, is the forgotten man. He was up there fighting for the lead. He's now scrapping just for a point, as he's now side by side with Trace. He's trying to struggle for traction. The McLaren getting back up the inside. This is an incredible finish, of course. There's great battles going on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, but also for this magnificent scrap for 6th between 5 cars. Who knew it would be this close come the end of the season and the final few laps of the final race, as now we to be the leader of the pack. It is of the pack for 6th position at least. Fisi fan with Rosberg just behind. He's going to line him up for a pass now. Look at the state of Fisi's tyres as they come back side by side, and here comes Rosberg to the outside under braking. Let's see who's going to be last of the late breakers. Who's braver? Seems to be it's going to be Rosberg. He locks up the inside front. They're going to be side by side again. Has Fisi got enough confidence to hold it around the side? Yes, he has. There's been more contact across the curb. There goes Minty, and also there goes Rosberg, and also there goes Randy as well. He's lost 3 places, and his teammate. So because of that contact, Fisi goes down from 6th to 10th in 1 move. That's incredibly bad luck, but of course there's still about a lap and a bit to go as they come exiting of Ferradura of Ciudad de Lago up towards Ferradura, the right-hander. Fisi at the back of the train when just a few corners ago he was at the front of it. How fortunes change in the space of a few corners, as it's now Minty at the front of the pack queue from Rosberg, from Trace, Randy, and then Fisi. So an incredible scrap going on, but we're going to head to the final lap. Randy's getting a little bit sideways on the exit of the curb as he headed that Pinheirino, goes a little deep. There goes Fisi back up the inside, but the McLaren has the inside run through Magula, so he'll stay in front as they head back on towards the final lap of the season. And it's been an incredible season so far. What an incredible race we've had so far, of course, to round it off as well. But Matty, I think when it comes to the closing stages, I'm pretty sure with the races we've got at the moment, it's still not over, because Matty's just in front there, and he's backed off a little bit. He knows he's done enough to possibly get 2nd, but is there anything Limitless can do in this final lap to try and get back into 2nd place? I don't think so, Matty, but he's still got the final tour of the Interlagos circuit, the final lap of the season. Let's see what he can do.
He's right behind Noble, and he wants that 2nd place in this race if he can't get second place in the championship. Matty out in front, only 1.3 apparently ahead of Noble, but it's definitely a little bit more than that. I think the timing is a little bit off, but you can see his tyres have absolutely gone. He's probably pushed his tyres a little bit too much after trying to get away from Noble and Limitless, and they're starting to close in, but it's the final lap of the race. And what is also thrown into the action was the fact that Fisi had contact, has gone down to 10th, and Martin up in 5th. I think that means that Fisi's only going to keep 6th place in the championship by 1 point. But Fisi, he has to keep 10th place, but it looks like he is, as SE is 11 seconds behind. But around the final few corners we come. Matty looks like he's going to take the victory with Noble in second. It's going to be a Williams 1-2 unless Limitless can do something in the slipstream. Here we go, Matty over the line to take the final race of the season. And here we go, is Limitless going to beat Noble to the line? It does not look like he did. It was very close indeed, but I think that is a Williams 1-2. Limitless comes home third, and we are now on board with Fisi, who is going to come home in 10th. And he is praying that Martin has not gained another place on this lap. And he will have a look at the standings in a minute. And SE coming home for his final race, what could be of his AOR career, but definitely he is not racing next season. Comes home in 11th. I'm sure he would have wanted some points, but he downshifts over the line as well. Well, I don't know why he's fist pumping, but maybe it's just thank you very much, AOR, for having me as well. For Mazy CZ as well, finishing in 12th. And this is the replay, Scott, of the move that changed the race.
It really did. This is incredible. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 cars in one move. I've never seen anything like it in AOR, and there has to be possibly, I think we can call it now. I think that has to be move of the season, because that was just absolutely unbelievable. The battles we had all up and down the field. This was Noble. This is Matty and Noble and Limitless going side by side. We have for that lap. That was an incredible sequence of corners, which eventually ended with Limitless in front, but of course it gave Noble the chance to get back past down the straight. So an incredible run, and then a couple of laps later, Noble coming back up the inside, and that's effectively what decided the placings, even though he got so close for the final few races. Then we'll see. Again, this is Mazy and Constantins, the two Saubers going for a swap of places on the penultimate lap, and that is Mazy just getting himself up the inside of Constantins. I'm sure Constantins saying, there you go, it's your final race, I'm sure I'll let you get in front. And this was the incident that Fisi fan just lost out, and I don't think there was contact, but look at that, he went from 6th to 10th, got passed by 4 cars in the space of a few seconds when he was entered that complex 6th. And this is the battle between these two, and look at that, and looks to me that there was Matty winning the race to secure, I think, second ever championship. And this is the viewpoint from Noble 2909. Let's see, was it second place or was it third? Was there a change? I don't think there was. Let's have a look from Lewis's point of view. Across the line, and we changed to second, but I think it possibly was a 1-2. But there's a man who's very happy. He rounds out the season with a victory, and of course it does mean that he secures second ever championship. And it's another domination. As I said, it has been the Matty and Noble show. Noble with the championship, Matty second place, and of course Williams set the constructors. Whew, what a season of racing, and what a race to finish it on, Matty. I'm privileged to have seen it, but of course, look at that. Williams 1-2. What a fantastic run. Take us to the final race, Matty. It has been one incredible season.
It's been absolutely fantastic. xMattyG taking the victory from his teammate Noble 299, bowing out a brilliant race for him, helping his teammate out as much as he could, with Limitless just missing out on second place. I think 26 thousandths of a second there, so those two had a great battle. Ricky C coming home in a very strong 4th place, only 2.3 seconds off the win, with TRL Martin coming home in 5th, Minty in 6th, and Rosberg 7th. Rosberg probably quite disappointed with that result, considering he had some excellent pace in practice and in qualifying. Tracy92 finishes in 8th position, ahead of his teammate in 10th, with Randy McScrandy in the middle of a Red Bull sandwich in 9th position. Very disappointed for him, considering he was fighting for the victory. Mazy CZ finishes in 11th place. He bows out of the AOR in 11th, with Constantins finishing in 12th, with SE Racing Team at that 10-second penalty did not get removed, and he actually finished in 13th place. Good for him that he didn't actually lose any points, because he finished 11th anyway, with iProX Callum not finishing. What a surprise that is, with Jason 97 F1 the only person not starting. TRL Rosberg took the fastest lap, so he took something home with a 109.6, and there's the Drivers' Championship. So Noble obviously sealed out the championship a long time ago, but Matty, his teammate, finishing in 2nd place at 8 points ahead in the end of TRL Limitless in 3rd. Randy McScrandy coming home in a strong 4th position, just ahead of his teammate Ricky C in 5th. If Ricky hadn't disconnected from India, who knows what could have happened, with Fisi fan getting that 6th place just about ahead of Martin. 1 point it was between the two in the end, with Minty finishing in 8th position and losing out to Martin. What could have been maybe if he hadn't had that contact with Rosberg. Tracy92 finishing in 9th in the championship, with Rosberg coming home in 10th. I would have expected maybe a few more points from him, considering the pace he showed in qualifying. Constantins finishes in 11th, losing out to Rosberg in the final race of the season. SE Racing Team 12th. with Mazy CZ in 13th. Jason97 F1 and iProX Callum are the two people who get relegated, unfortunately. We're going to have a few GP2 drivers coming up with a few people bowing out and things like that, Scott. And wow, I think next season, with Noble bowing out, it's going to be intense.
It really is. I think possibly I'm going to call it possibly. There's so many great drivers. We've got at least 5 drivers that could at least challenge for the championship, I think, possibly. But I think main protagonists, I think at least, are going to be, I think those 5 drivers are definitely going to be Matty, Limitless, the 2 McLaren drivers of Randy and Ricky, and possibly even TRL Rosberg. They're all talented and they all deserve a shot at least getting a few race victories. There's a Constructors' Championship, of course, 570 points for Williams as they take out the title. Toro Rosso managed to head out McLaren by 30 points to take second. Then, of course, look at that, Ferrari a full 93 points back with 194 points back. Sorry, my apologies. Look at that, it's Ferrari in 4th position. Then Red Bull 5th, Caterham 6th, Verstappen 7th, and a very disappointing season for Force India in 8th. And it starts all over again, of course, in Australia, but what a season it's been, Matty. It's been privileged to be part of it for this season, of course, to commentate. I haven't been around for all the races, but it's the ones I have seen. There's been lots of fun times, lots of good racing, lots of controversy, but in the end, another great season in the history books. And so I guess that's all left to say really is roll on season 8.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much, Scott, for commentating with me across the season, and for Fisi Fan for covering for when you've been away. And also thanks to Fisi Fan for making these incredible highlight videos. You have no idea how many hours he spends making these edits, and wow, I mean, you have to thank him. So I think everybody should thank him in the comment section below, especially if you enjoy this series. But it's been a fantastic season, and season 8 is going to be no exception. The Australian Grand Prix, a track that promotes such great racing, and I hope you guys will tune in next week for round 1. Thank you very much, Scott.
No problem. Pleasure as always. I'll catch you guys in Australia. We do it all over again. Fingers crossed it'll be as great as season 7. Cheers, guys.
And we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.